Happy Wednesday. Okay, if you want coaching, go ahead and raise your hand from the bottom. So there's that react button, and then you can raise your hand, and that's how I know you would like coaching today. I don't have a lot on agenda for today. Housekeeping things, let me see here. A lot of clients are in the first 30 days. So my guess is that it might be kind of a quiet house today. Let's see. Next week, nothing. I don't think there's anything different next week. No, I need to get you all added to the calls for next week. So sorry about that. I haven't done that yet. September, not a lot going on. So regular old business. What I would like to do today is to ask those of you here. Let's do kind of a body check-in for today and see what is coming up. So I want you to reflect on the past week. What signal has your body been sending to you lately? What have you been feeling lately? And this could be energy, ups or downs. This can be hunger that is different. This can be different digestion or bloating. It can be muscle tension, cravings, wanting to move more, wanting to move less, sleep that's adjusting to the seasons changing. So just notice in the past week, what has felt maybe a little more difficult for you or having a little more resistance to, and let me know either in the chat or you can raise your hand and we can coach on that, on what has felt difficult for you in this past week as far as what your body is trying to tell you and asking for. And I will wait for your answers. So go ahead and raise your hand and put them in the chat. Jesse said sleep, getting 7 hours, but not feeling very restful or good quality. Do you think that this is something remember that like biofeedback signs that are in the SHREDS module? So the SHREDS are going to be biofeedback. So these are symptoms. It's not the problem. So if we know that sleep is a symptom, what do you think is creating the good sleep that you are missing out on? It could be the evening, like your evening wind down. It could be how you're starting the day. It can be where you are in your cycle. So if you are in your luteal phase of your cycle, the week before your period starts, your progesterone should be high. And when your progesterone is high, it is harder to get into a deep sleep. It's harder to stay there. Because progesterone in of itself, if progesterone is a little bit low as well, if it's a little imbalance from estrogen, that'll exacerbate it. But also progesterone can cause some sleeping issues in the last half of your cycle. Your body is also warmer, so that increase in body temperature can make you feel hotter at night too, which prevents you from staying asleep. I personally am in my luteal phase and woke up last night and I was all hot and sweaty. And that happens usually about 2 days in my luteal phase. And I will say it's so much better than what it used to be. It used to be a week straight of body sweats at night. So Jesse, reflect, maybe you've put it in there, reflect and let me know, what do you think is contributing to that if that's the symptom? Kathleen, my body is telling me I'm stressed. However, I'm staying on my nutrition, sleep, and movement. I'm working on keeping her safe. Good. Tell me, Kathleen, what is your body telling you? What are the feelings? What are the signals? What are the symptoms? How you know that you are stressed. This just helps us create more of that mind-body connection. Rachel, body tension and some anxiety with anticipation and trying to mentally prepare for harvest, school, and extra kids activities. Yes. So this is a big one this time of year. I don't I haven't had a lot of farmers' wives. I haven't talked to a lot of you lately, or maybe I have less of you in the group right now. For a while, it was like I was coaching just farmers' wives. Um, so with harvest or with your significant other going to be gone, obviously you're going to have to take on more responsibilities in the household. And so with that, we already know that you are likely operating at mostly a full capacity. Most women in our day and age, but also in this group, we're doing probably more than what we should. We're creating awareness around that and trying to develop that better relationship with what we're doing and how we're caring for ourselves, trying to create that balance. So, what I encourage you to do is that as you start to have to take on some of that load, that you decide what you're actually going to let go. And it can be something that you would normally be like, oh my God, I can't let that go. So, I want you to think on this call, Rachel, what are some things that you can let go or you can let slide or you can do less of while your husband is going to be harvesting and you're taking on more responsibility? And or can you hand something off to other people if that's an option? Maybe your kids are old enough to take responsibility, or maybe you have in-laws that love to help you or something like that. But if you don't, then what are you going to let go? Because that is how we create the balance and the ebb and flow, is that some things are just going to have to be put on the back burner, and that's okay. This isn't forever. This is just during harvest. So my husband is not a farmer, but he is an avid goose hunter. And so he leaves the country. He goes to Canada for the pretty much the entire month of September. And then also he got an elk tag. So he will also be gone part of October. So he'll be back for a week in the middle of September, but mostly this entire, upcoming he leaves on Friday. So the upcoming 6 weeks or so, I'm solo parenting. And so the things that I let go are honestly my garden. I do the bare minimum in my garden, which means I just pick what I want to eat right now, and then everything else is going to just have to go. Um, I will likely be doing maybe one less workout a week because I might have more later nights doing more kid activities by myself at night. And so then that will lead to needing more sleep in the morning. And I'm always going to prioritize my sleep, because if I don't sleep, then everything else gets pushed back as far as my body and also how I feel. And then that impacts everything in my household on how I feel and how I'm behaving. So then I'm going to prioritize sleep versus my workouts because it's a short amount of time. And I know that my body can't operate without sleep, but my body can operate just fine without a workout. My meal prep, I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently. So I've been looking at some meal prep companies to see, like, can I get, like basically a box of food delivered to me, and it's minimal prep, and, or I don't have to think about what we're making and it's just kind of there for me. So I've been exploring different options there. If I can't find anything I like, then I might just go to Power Plate Meals, which is in town. And it's kind of a like easy go-to for me. Or here's another option that sometimes I'll do. I'll go to Pomegranate Market, which I know some of you don't live in Sioux Falls, but it's like the health food market here. And they have like prepped vegetables that are already like ready to go. And so I will get those and then they like have sauces and stuff with them. And then just like bulk cook some chicken, bulk cook some steak and stuff like that. So my meal prep, my evening meals are going to be a lot more simple and easy. So I'm already thinking, what am I going to take off my plate? And how can I make other things easier for my life as I will be on my own as well? So I encourage you to do that too, Rachel. So in this call, if you haven't said it already, what are you going to let go? Amanda, my body has been feeling tired this week. Also, I've been really craving good, clean meals, but I have been too tired and busy to meal plan and prep. So Amanda, here's my question for you is, what have you been eating? I'm going to leave it at that. What have you been eating? Kathleen, I feel that, so this was regarding the question of how do you know your body's stressed? I feel that my pulse is faster and I'm not thinking clearly. My patience seems to be wearing thin. Yes. Okay. All signs of stress. So pulse is faster. We know you're in that sympathetic drive, not thinking clearly. So brain fog, because You're not going to have clear thoughts when your mind is perceiving that you're in danger, right? It's only going to be thinking about the danger right ahead of you. It's like cut off your peripheral vision, foggy thoughts, right? Because it's like, no, there's something else that's a lot more important than you sitting down and trying to figure out this problem or to remember why you walked into a room. And then patience, obviously, our body does not want to sit still and not do something when we're in that sympathetic state, right? So we're not going to be able to feel patience because our body wants to escape the current place that it's at right now. So if we know that you're probably in that sympathetic drive, what we want to do is we want to bring you down to that connected and safe place. And even though that there's stressors going on around you, there are things that you can do for your body to get you into that connected, safe place. So let me pull up our polyvagal. Design here. Where is it? Okay, this might be a little bit small. Let me try a different way. Well, why can't I get this to pull up? Is it there? No. Okay, we're just gonna have to use that other one. Sorry, this is taking forever. I wonder if I can get this. Oh, there we go. That's probably better. Okay. Okay, can you all see that? Let me just make sure because now my screen looks funky. I'm going to assume you can. It's the polyvagal, working with your polyvagal nerve. Okay, so if we are in the activated state over here, okay, if we're in the activated state, sympathetic drive, and we know this because your pulse is faster, we know this because brain fog is there, and then you can't sit still with patience. So what we want to do is we want to move you into parasympathetic. So that's that safe rest, digest place. And there are things that we can do because basically what you have when you're activated over here, that's not what you want to see. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's my Facebook ad tutorial. Yeah, that's not helpful for you, is it? Okay. There. That one better? Okay. So you're over here in sympathetic based on your symptoms. So when you're in sympathetic, your body's pumping out a bunch of stress hormones. It's pumping out cortisol, it's pumping out adrenaline to keep you focused, moving, and so on. And so you basically probably have extra energy that your body would like to expend because of the stress hormones that are being produced. So in order to get over here to the parasympathetic state where you're connected and your body feels safe, what can we do to reorientate your body, send messages of safety, but also get rid of some of that stress hormone that's floating around? So first, notice and try to settle into that body and notice where does the energy seem to be like moving really, really fast? Where does it seem to be less content? And then you can actually move that energy out. You can shake your arms. So this is one that's so easy to do. And if you're on the call here with me or you're listening to the replay, I encourage you to do it. So let's just shake our right hand. We're just going to shake it for 20 seconds or so here. And another helpful thing is you can just imagine your body like actually moving that stress outside of your body. Like it's just going away from you, it's going outside where it can be more useful. And then once you're done, go ahead and let your arms hang at your side and notice, how does your shaking arm feel compared to the arm that didn't shake? It feels probably light. It feels just like better, right? It just feels good. This one probably feels like kind of dull and heavy, and this one feels light and energetic, the one that you did shake. So imagine if you did that for your entire body, you did an entire body shake. So you individually shake each arm all the way through, shake your head, shake your booty, shake every leg, do like upper body shimmy shake, all of that. Like no matter how weird or how silly you feel, know that this is a somatic practice. This is actually you learning how to regulate your body within the knowledge and intelligence of your body. So shaking your arm, shaking anything of your body, rocking back and forth. When you rock, that will put you into more of a parasympathetic state because it's actually toning your vagal nerve, which is in charge of a lot of the stress response within your body. You can stretch, you can do like a yoga flow, because that in of itself, we have all of these energy centers located within our body and they all flow within each other. And if we do like a yoga flow where, you actually do like a vinyasa, those are basically aligning all of the energetic flows within your body in a way that allows that energy to be flowed out within the poses of the yoga flow. So something like a yin yoga or vinyasa yoga will help move some of that energy out in maybe more of like a conducive type of way because of how your body's aligned. Shut off social media, shut off email. I know, Kathleen, you work in school administration, and so I'm sure your email is a big trigger for you. And so you have working hours, and I highly encourage you to abide by those working hours. The reason is because you are the example for all of the other employees and all of the students within your school. And if you have safe boundaries to keep yourself safe, that helps keep your employees safe. It helps keep your children to perceive that sense of safety as well, because you are keeping yourself safe with boundaries. And when you shut off your email, when you're outside of business hours, that is creating safety within your nervous system. And that's going to flow throughout everyone else that you're in contact with in your school system. That also teaches the teachers to have boundaries for themselves, from their work, from the parents within your school, from the kids in the school. Because I have worked with a lot of teachers, and this is a huge thing, is that they all become very burned out. And a lot of the teachers in this group before school started this year had nervous system reactions before they even got into the classroom. And that was because they were just thinking about how stressful that school is and how stressful their classroom is and how stressful that building is. And it's creating boundaries to keep yourself safe within your work environment that is going to allow your body to feel safe. And when your body feels safe, now you're going to go into work and you're going to be a lot more productive. You're going to be a lot more creative. You're going to be a lot more, I don't like to use the word useful, but yeah, useful while you're there, because you're not stuck in a nervous system response all the time. So social media and or email. The other thing too is that you can create some boundaries within you and your email by knowing what time you shut it off. If you are stuck to your phone, I didn't know about this. Apparently it's a thing. What's it called? A brick. Somebody sent it to me as a gift. And I was like, is this design? But anyway, I don't actually need it because I have very good boundaries, but it's called a brick. And you set this brick up to create boundaries between you and your phone. And you set up the boundaries yourself, and then you just let the brick app do what it does. And so it blocks those apps from you going in during the like non-working hours or during the boundary time. And instead of just putting a PATS code in like you would if you were trying to use your phone and you put your own boundaries in, like what is it called? Like if you set your own screen time boundaries in there on your phone, all you have to do is put a password in and you can bypass it. Well, this requires you to get up and go find your brick and then use your brick to unlock the phone. It just creates a lot more friction between you and the boundaries within that you set up for yourself. And you can do that for your apps, for your email. You can do that apps, social media, any app on your phone. You can create a boundary with this brick thing. I don't really know. It's just called Brick, and I don't even know how much it costs because it just sent it to me. But yeah, that's something you can do too. Okay, long exhales. When we inhale, our heart rate naturally increases because it's always the push and pull effect that our body is creating and wanting in homeostasis within our body. So an inhale will always increase your heart rate and exhale will always decrease your heart rate. You can do it right now. You can just test. Inhale, you'll notice you get maybe an extra beat in there. Exhale, it starts to slow back down. So we can actually use our breath to move us from sympathetic to parasympathetic by simply prolonging the exhale, which allows for more time on decreasing your heart rate versus more time on increasing your heart rate. And so one way that you can practice at, prolonging your exhale is thinking about exhaling through a straw and creating like less space for that exhale to go through. When you start doing this, when you start practicing, you'll notice that a lot of your breath is in your chest and they're short and shallow. And that tells us we're in the sympathetic state. Not anything bad. We don't need to feel terrible about that. We don't need to shame ourselves, but we just want to notice, oh, I'm in a sympathetic state. How can I bring myself into more of a regulated state? I'm going to take a breath in and try to push that belly all the way out. And then I'm going to slowly exhale. That got pretty hard for me at the end because I'm on a coaching call and I'm naturally in a sympathetic state on a coaching call. But a way to practice is by counting. So do inhale on 4. So count to 4. You can hold for 4 and then exhale for 8. You want to try to double the amount of time in your exhale than you spend in your inhale. Vibration, again, that's a vagal tone thing. So you can even get like your vibrating toothbrush and like put it against your collarbone. And that just helps regulate your nervous system too. Tapping, so tapping exercises, EFT. I just recorded 3 new ones this morning. So they will be, if you're in the first 30 days, they will be part of your homework next week, but I'll also be uploading them to our regular Mindfully Well group. But I felt very calm before I got on this call because I had been going through tapping exercises live on a, well, not live, but a recording. And so tapping is extremely helpful because you are tapping on those acupressure points that help release the stress signals that your vagal nerve is receiving. Grounding yourself, going outside. It's still nice out. Like fall is going to be coming and it's one of the sweetest seasons. And so getting your feet outside on the grass, noticing how the air is changing and becoming more crisp and really taking that all in. I encourage you to, on your days off and your times off, your evenings off, to be outside. Get your bare feet on the ground, go for a walk outside, let your skin feel that sunshine as our seasons change, because our bodies are really receptive to seasons changing and they can really like soak it up. And then doing like the 5 senses meditation, or just simply is like sitting in your office or wherever you are and name 5 things in your environment. And like, don't name it like as in like there's a plant, there's a sign, there's a ceiling. Like there's a green plant in front of me and it has a lot of flowing stems and leaves. And the leaves are dark green and some spots are light green. And they're all flowing off of the west side of the plants, the pot holder. And they're sitting in a braided hanging plant. And then I'm going to move to my sign over there. And my sign has different elements in it. It has a wood element, it has a metal element, it has different shapes. It has a triangle, it has a circle. And on the metal element, it's shiny over here and it's dull over here. And then I'm going to move to my ceiling. My ceiling is white. My ceiling has textures. My ceiling is actually a different color than my walls, even though I thought my walls were white. I never noticed that before. My ceiling has reflections of the sun. My ceiling has reflections of the lights. So I'm really explaining in detail everything in my environment, and what that is doing is that it is showing my nervous system that the environment my body is in is actually very safe. The environment that I'm in has a plant that's living and thriving. The environment that I'm in has a ceiling that keeps me safe. The environment that I'm in has elements of the earth in it, right? So I'm showing my body by explaining all the details of everything around me, how safe my body actually is, how safe the environment is that my body is living in. So these are just a few. I would like to do a workshop where we sit down and we come together and we create more options of these, because obviously there's a lot more. And then just know too, if you ever look at the sympathetic, parasympathetic over here, this is your free state, the protection state. Then there's things here. These can always be used also on the other side too. They're just more of a down regulation versus an up regulation nervous system tool. But most of the time, your nervous system is going to feel pretty safe with any of these. Okay. And let's see here. Where am I? Okay, Kathleen. Oh, no, there we go. Rachel, what are we going to do to prep for harvest season? Removing multiple step meals and making things simpler in the kitchen. Crock pot meals, frozen veggies if needed, bulk prep meats. Have kids help with laundry and simple cleanup. Let some more extensive cleaning go, potentially reducing morning workouts and playing outside with kids or walk during their practices. And then I should add increased boundaries and reduce social media time. That is also not purposeful. Love it. That is all beautiful. So now from here, I want you to write down somewhere so that you have this, these are the things you're going to do. So you're going to make things simple in the kitchen. Crock pot meals. Think about what are your favorite go-to crock pot meals that are easy for you to go to. I encourage you not necessarily to find new meals, because doing something new when you're already overwhelmed and stressed just adds another layer to it. It can make it feel more exciting, but you're more likely to feel overwhelmed and maybe not do it. So make a list of your go-to favorite crock pot meals. Frozen veggies if needed. Yes, just have them all in the freezer ready to go. And like, what's the easiest way for you to cook frozen veggies too? Personally, I have a regular like pan. It's not, maybe it's a frying pan. I don't know. But then I have a steamer that I put in there, and then I put a little bit of water on the bottom, and then I just steam my veggies. That's usually my go-to because it takes like 5 minutes. And then if I want, I will add some sort of fat to it, oil, butter, and then salt. That's my easiest go-to as far as frozen veggies go. And then bulk prep meats, that's also great. So if you're going to make like ground beef, just do like a few pounds at a time. Chicken, again, in the slow cooker is so easy because it just kind of falls apart for you. So looking at how you would do that, which meats you will do. Have kids help more with laundry and simple cleanup. Make sure that you know what they are actually doing with their laundry, and make sure they know as well what they are doing and then what the simple cleanup actually is for them. So I would write it down and make it really clear for both yourself and them. This is the expectation while dad is out in the field, is that your laundry, and be like, I need your help, make them feel super important about it. And then the laundry, this is your responsibility. I expect you to do it as soon as I ask, or even just do it without me asking. And then simple cleanup, this is what you're going to be doing every day after dinner or XYZ. I expect you to do this. I will remind you once, and then that will be it. There will be no screens, XY, right? Let them know, like, this is how you create the boundaries with them. This is the expectation, and this is what will happen if the expectation isn't followed through. And then yes, potentially reducing morning workouts and play outside with the kids and then walk during their practices. I love that too. Make sure you know, how will you know that you're going to reduce morning workouts? Probably based on your energy. Be okay making a plan for workouts on these days, and then be okay knowing when you're listening to your body and you're going to pull back and maybe pass on that workout. And then, yes, decide what your boundaries actually are to reduce social media, because what does reduce social media actually mean? You want to define that, because yeah, that's probably time not well spent for you. And Jesse said, if you have a Samsung or Android, you can also set up a mode in your phone where it shuts off the apps you tell it to. You can set the mode to start and end at a certain time, or turn it on or off when you want. Yes, I think that's what I was talking about. The brick makes it so, because I think to turn that app back on, all you have to do is put a code in. If I'm right, I don't have a Samsung or Android, but that's how it is on iPhone. But with the brick, you actually have to go out of your way to go get your brick to unlock it. And to be truthful, is that I tried it yesterday and it still didn't even work for the brick, because I was just trying to see how it worked. And I tried to like use it to unlock the app that I was trying to get into, and it still didn't work. So I was like, I don't get this, but that's me. And I easily get overwhelmed by technology. Okay. Amanda, let me go back to your question. What you said first. My body's been feeling tired. And I asked you, what are you actually too busy to meal plan and prep? Okay. What are you actually eating? You've been eating oats overnight, pizza, grape nuts, leftovers, Fairlife, protein shakes, and basically things that are no thought and ready. Okay. Okay, so you're too tired to meal plan and prep. So here's one thing that I want you to think about, is that it actually does not take a whole lot of energy to meal plan. Now, to do the prep, yeah, it does take time and energy, because you're going to have to actually have that, time available for you. But to plan is different. To plan, you already are planning by not planning. So what you're doing is you're likely waiting until you're hungry to decide what you're going to eat, and then you choose what to eat, right? That process takes time. That process takes energy. Or you can take that time and energy of waiting until you're hungry and then deciding, and you put it earlier on in the day or the night before, and then that's when you do your meal planning. That's when you think, what do I have available to me that will help fuel my body well? Because most of these foods in here are not terrible. Oats overnight is fine. I mean, some pizza's okay. Grape nuts, question. I haven't actually looked at a label of a grape nut. Leftovers, assuming you're making balanced meals. And then Fairlife protein shakes, that one is what it is. It's protein, not quite sure on the quality of that, but you're already doing the planning, right? You just have to shift how you're thinking about doing that planning. Right now, you're just doing the planning by waiting until you're hungry. And then, of course, you're going to make quick food choices because you're hungry and your body's like, we need food now. So just grab the thing. If you just think about it earlier on in the day, you're just taking that time, moving it earlier so that you just make more conscious choices that benefit you better. And then also by doing that, you can usually see little windows of time where you can be making better food for yourself to be available. So if today is Wednesday and on Wednesday night, I'm thinking, oh, I don't know, like usually Wednesday nights I'll prep for the rest of the week. So let's say it was too busy of a Wednesday night and I didn't get to my prep, and I'm like, oh crap, what am I going to eat tomorrow? I'm thinking about it now on a Wednesday night instead of Thursday at 11:30 when I'm supposed to be eating lunch. Right. So if I'm thinking about it now, oh, I don't have foods for tomorrow. What can I quickly make or get ready so I have that ready for tomorrow? I actually do have some chicken thighs in the freezer. I'm actually just going to throw them in the slow cooker, maybe right away in the morning with some barbecue sauce, and cook it on high so that I have shredded chicken for, my my lunch in the morning. And I have maybe leftover veggies, or I have frozen veggies I can steam with it, and I have fruit. Right. So that took me the same amount of time as it would Thursday at 11:30 to think about what I'm eating, but now I have options. Now I have choices instead of defaulting into what's available in my fridge, which would be, a peach at this point, and some green beans that are not cooked. So I want you to rephrase, I don't have time to meal plan and meal prep, and see how can you just shift the time that you do have and make it more purposeful, and then also see what snippets of time do you actually have throughout the day. Now that you type it, no wonder why you're tired. Yes. Okay, good. Let's see. All right. Okay, that was good. I think we got through everybody as far as how you are feeling and how we prepare, how we listen to our body. Does anybody want coaching outside of what we just did? I'll give you guys a few minutes here. Kathleen is good. Okay. One thing while I'm waiting for people to raise their hand is um, that I just want to put in your ear and have you think about it, and also replays for those of you listening to the replays, is the check-ins, weekly check-ins. Remember that they are there for you. They're there for your benefit, to help you succeed, to give you what you need out of the program. It's never mandatory to do your check-ins. Nothing is ever mandatory in my world. However, if you feel like I'm not doing the things, or this isn't working, or why can't I do this, or why do I get stuck? Oh yeah, I had a question today. Why do I get stuck? Or I'm, just floating in and out of the program and not actually being very purposeful with anything and not actually feeling any different. Then I want you to see, how are you possibly not using the resources that are available for you to be successful and to feel successful? Everything in here was put in there for a purpose, not to give you extra things to do, not to make it seem like the program had all of this stuff that you were getting, not for noise or anything like that. It's there purposely because it helps move you in the direction in which you want to go. And so if you find yourself being like, I wish it was better, I wish I was better, I wish something was different, where are you not using the resources that are available for you? And if you're somebody who's like, I've really been out of it for a while, I haven't really been purposeful with any of my actions, and I don't even know where to start, then do your weekly check-in. That's where you start. Or send a message in the community. That's where you start. Where you start is asking for help and being vulnerable with where you're at right now. It's okay that maybe you've been lacking, or you fell off, or whatever it is. It's always okay to come back. It's always okay to ask for help. It's okay to use your resources that are there for you. So I just want to bring to your attention, where can you use resources to help move you in the right direction quicker? Also, right? They're there to help be a little bit quicker with the process versus letting it be long and painful. Okay. And then Abby had a question. You find it. Okay. Abby said, I'm always amazed at the clarity that journaling can bring me. Despite that, sometimes I find it hard to do. First of all, I just find the time to do it. I think when I journal, I want to write down every single detail of what I'm feeling. And so I always think it's going to take forever, and I end up not doing it. Perhaps I need to just focus on one prompt to help me get into it. Second, sometimes I feel like I don't want to write down what I'm actually feeling. Like I don't want someone to find it. And I'm not exactly sure why. Just like MyFitnessPal, if it's not perfect, I don't want to look at it, and I don't want it on paper, even though I know my feelings are my feelings and I don't have to be correct. I'd love to hear your insight. That is a really great insight and question, because it happens all the time. It happens to me all of the time. I know that I should be specifically, a coach that I'm working with told me to do breath work every day, told me to do my tapping every day. And Do I do it every day? I don't. Because there are some days that I'm like, I just can't get myself to do it. I just can't move. And what I want you to see is that this is a nervous system state. Look at that. We just always end up at the nervous system. It's a nervous system state. And when we look at um, this guy again, right? So you can't get yourself to do the thing. You are actually in protection mode. And it makes sense, right? Because you're protecting yourself from feeling the feelings of what you're going to be writing. You're also protecting yourself from not doing it right, which means like what you said back on feeling like you won't have enough time to do everything that you want to do. So you just don't do it at all, right? So you're in a protection phase of the feeling of failure, of feeling the emotions, of being shameful of your emotions that you write on paper. And so, in order to move ourselves out of protection, we want to think about more of an activating response. So, something like sunlight and walk, move with music, smell something you love. You can do activating breath work or tapping, but all of these things, too, as well, are kind of like things that you have to do in order to move you into journaling. So, I would encourage you to think about what are the things in your life that get you to move into some action when you're noticing that you're in a freeze response. For me, it's if I can just get my body down to my gym area where I have all of my breathwork stuff and I have my oils and I have my Palo Santo senses. Like, okay, so here's the thing that I'm just realizing: it smells. For me, like if I can smell the thing that feels really grounding to me, um, and like kind of helps bring me home to myself, then I'm going to be more likely to go participate in the activity that allows me to explore more of that. So if I can get myself into my gym, I'll smell my gym, which smells very nice. It does not smell like a stinky gym. And then I'm immediately going to feel ready to go into action. So, what is something in your senses that will help you be ready to move into action for journaling? That could be something that you explore this week. The other thing is can you make the friction between you and journaling easier? It's always going to be easy to find reasons to not do it because of what we just said, right? Because your body wants to go into safety. It doesn't want to do it because he doesn't think you can do it right because you don't have enough time. It's going to take forever. And then also you're going to have to like look at those feelings and you might have to process them. And what if you make it mean something about you and then you feel worse? And so it's going to keep you from doing that, right? Our brain and our body always want to keep us safe, and those feelings and those actions feel unsafe, even though that doesn't make sense. Those are the things that actually make us feel more safe. But in the moment, it feels unsafe. So it's going to keep you frozen. So we got to find something that moves you from that frozen state and into more of that regulating state. So what in your senses, but also how can you reduce the friction between you and that journal or you and that pen or you and that state of wanting to write? So move that journal to where it's easy to find, where you don't have to find excuses, where if you don't have to go look for it, put the pen there so you don't have to go look for a pen. Make it more interesting or make it more enjoyable, make it more juicy, make it more like luxurious. So, I mean, I'm a sucker for a good pen and a good journal. Like, I just like if I find a good pen and a good journal, I'm probably going to be more likely to journal. Um, so doing things like that too, just make it more of you. And so it doesn't have to be like a fearful or less of a fearful process for your mind and your body. But overall, I just want you to know that it's a normal thing to not want to do the thing that is helpful for you. Even though you see so much benefit from it when you're done, it is very normal to get to feel like there's that momentum over that hill that you have to achieve before you actually get to that spot. And so it's just finding ways to move there quicker and easier. Notice when you're keeping yourself safe, why you're keeping yourself safe. Understanding is a huge part of it too. And then you're like, oh, now I know why I'm doing this. And none of these reasons that my body's trying to keep me safe is actually true or relevant. And so I'm going to just go journal. So that's what I would have to say. It's normal. It's okay that it happens. And let's find a way to reduce some of that friction and to make it more of a luxurious experience for you. Or what is a like some sort of sense, like in increasing your senses to want to like embark on that journaling experience. Let me make sure I covered everything. And then as far as like one prompt to help you get into it, I would say instead of that, you give yourself the amount of time that you're going to journal beforehand. So if you're like, oh, I only have 10 minutes and I definitely have more than 10 minutes of journaling in me, just set your timer for 10 minutes and then be done, right? Because that alleviates also that excuse that it's going to take so long. I don't think that necessarily one prompt is going to help you get into it because you could use one prompt and you could journal for, um, you know, 5 days on one journal prompt. So the one journal prompt probably isn't helpful, but I would say the time that you give yourself to journal will be helpful. And then that also alleviates one of those excuses that your brain will come up with. All right. And as far as like, also, I'll just touch on this when not wanting to look at it or you don't want it on paper. One thing that you can do as well, if it feels like a particularly um, triggering journal entry, or there was a lot on there that you put and you're like, oh my God, I just can't believe I wrote all of that. Um, and you feel shameful about it and you're like, I really don't want anyone to find this, like God forbid something happened to you and they would be going through your stuff the next day and that really worries you, burn it. That's okay. You don't actually, like, the process is already done. You don't have to keep that journal anymore. You don't have to keep that journal prompt, because this is actually releasing. You don't have to go back and read it and relive the experience because now you're just like indulging in the pain of the processing of that emotion. And what we want to do is we want to move on from that emotion. Now, I'm not saying that if we burn it, it will never come back to us or that you are fully healed and resolved, but it also helps you move on from that and it helps you release what happened during that journaling session. And so you can burn it however you want. You can drown it in water and throw it away. You can rip it up and put it in the garbage, whatever feels like healing and releasing for you. But there's a lot of like burning rituals that can feel really validating. You'll see usually like full moon rituals where they'll write and then they'll burn the thing. And if that's too woo woo for you, you just do whatever your heart desires to get rid of the thing and look at it as a release. And that was the completion of that exercise. You don't have to keep it. You don't have to relive it. You don't have to read through it again. Just let it go. All right. Nobody else has their hand up. So I'll give you another minute here. And if nobody else needs anything, then I will call it for today. All right, my friends, I will see you all next week. Have a good